It's time for your statewide Alabama Weathercast.
Good morning, I'm meteorologist Drew McCombs with the Alabama Weather Network, and this is your morning forecast update. And you can see here that we had a pretty cold start looking at our Skywatcher picture from Brian Parton in Lincoln. This was some frost there on some plants there around his house. And again, we had some good frost around in some areas and some really cold temperatures. Got down in the 20s in a number of spots. We'll talk about that here in a second. But looking at our satellite and radar, all things are quiet as we look at that this morning. Just a few high clouds streaming into the southern part of the state. Good portion of the northern part of the state is seeing pretty much blue skies, but maybe some high clouds filtering into the southwestern part of Alabama. But very calm weather expected for today and for most of tomorrow as well. Now we look at our SkyCam network here. Cherokee looking very nice there. Blue skies in the northern part of the state. It's 39 degrees there, so we're still sitting in 30s in many spots. 21 degrees is the dew point, so very dry air mass continues to be in place across the state. We'll expect to see that begin to change a little bit as we get into tomorrow. But right now, still very dry in Florence as well, with dew point in the 20s. It's 39 degrees there as well. And again, you see maybe a few high clouds off in the distance, but generally blue skies. And again, just very chilly, but very beautiful day starting off here for Black Friday. Coleman sitting in the upper 30s as well with dry air in place, looking over the Chris Kendall mark, and just a little bit of a breeze here and there. As you get further to the south, there's a little bit more of a breeze, but still nothing super gusty out there. Hoover, it's a little bit warmer. Blue skies there, 42 degrees, but again, very dry air with dew points down into the teens. So again, you might need some chapstick around if you're especially going to be out outdoors a little bit later on today. Ball Rock, beautiful view there, looking out at some of the ridges off in the distance there. Again, it's 35 degrees, so we're still sticking in the 30s generally as we move further to the south. However, as we get down further into the southern part of the state, Dozier, it's almost 50 degrees there, 47 degrees for the current temperature, and occasional gusts around 5 to 10 miles per hour, and some higher clouds as you can see there in the southern part of the state. And again, in Fairhope, a little bit more high cloud cover in place. The wind kicking up a little bit more there, though. You can see gusts up to 18 miles per hour. So again, we're seeing a little bit more of a breeze in the southern part of the state compared to the northern part of the state this morning. And finally, Dauphin Island looking towards the Gulf here, 47 degrees, and again, had a recent gust up to 30 miles per hour there. So a little bit of a breeze as you head further to the south. So low temperatures so far today. Again, we got well down into the 20s across the northern half of the state, got down to 25 degrees in Anniston, 26 in Huntsville, 29 in Birmingham. Even as far as south as Selma got into the 20s, and Thomasville as well, but generally around freezing or maybe a little bit above as you move further towards the southern tier of the state. As far as our Skywatcher reports, 21 degrees is the coldest report we got from Sandra Kirkwood in Newmarket up in the northern part of the state. Robert Bradford and Empire hit 23. Mike Talbot in Hueytown hit 25 degrees. Kyle Drake in Opelika 29. And James Misatic and Fadette hit right there at the freezing mark. Temperatures right now have again warmed up into the 40s generally, but still some spots in the upper 30s. Huntsville reading 39 degrees. Right now it's 45 in Birmingham, 45 in Auburn, 48 in Eufaula, approaching 50 degrees again towards the south. Troy's right there nearby at 49 degrees. Like I mentioned earlier, got a little bit of a breeze in the southern part of the state, but as you move further to the north, it's mostly right around calm. But again, you might feel a little bit of a breeze, might make it feel slightly chillier there for a little bit if you're outside. So here's what we're watching for this weekend and through next week. So cold, dry today. Clouds will be increasing tomorrow. We expect there to be rain coming in late tomorrow night, especially in the western and northwestern side of the state. We'll start to see some of that coming in as we get into tomorrow night, but really expect to get more of it as we get into Sunday. Now, this won't be a really big rain event where we expect large totals, but we will at least get fairly widespread light rain that'll move through fairly quickly. Expecting as we move into a couple of days after that, Monday into Tuesday, we'll get a more substantial looking rain event that we'll talk about more here in a bit. As far as the forecast highs for today, again, we should stay pretty chilly, especially in the northeastern corner of the state, only get in the upper 40s. As you move further to the south, we'll get to the low to mid 50s, 56 in Thomasville, 58 in Monroeville. It may hit 60 degrees right there along the furthest tier to the south, 60 degrees in Geneva, 61 in Gulf Shores. And again, just the overall trend over the course of the day as we look kind of at the northern half of Alabama will be staying fairly chilly overall, eventually warming up into the 40s over the course of the late morning, maybe topping out around upper 40s, around 50 degrees and then cooling back down in the evening, already back down in the 30s as you hit 6 or 7 o'clock at night. So if you are going to be out doing any Black Friday shopping today, again, a lot of people started early anyway, but it still would be pretty chilly over the course of the day. Although, again, if you're out in the sun, it'll feel a little bit better with the full sunshine. Southern part of the state, a little bit warmer, generally getting into kind of the low to mid 50s, but eventually falling back down in the 40s. And again, it'll still already be upper 30s as you get a little bit later in the evening there in southern Alabama. So the overall picture right now, as far as what's happening with the weather, is we got high pressure that's moved in. We got this dry air mass in place, very dry air mass in place, but it's moving off towards the east, and we'll start to open the door to a little bit more moisture starting to feed in ahead of the next system back to the west, where you see this green in the water vapor cloud cover or water vapor satellite imagery here. And so again, that's starting to kind of change here, but today will be very dry, but again, we'll see those clouds start to increase as we get into tomorrow. So again, looking at our Futurecast, very calm today, temperatures in the 40s and 50s as we get in the afternoon into the evening hours. And then you see the clouds on the increase. And by noon Saturday, a few showers, a few specks of green here is trying to show up in the western and northwestern part of the state. Now, it'll probably take a while for any showers that start to enter in to overcome the dry air that we have. Again, we have very, very dry air at the surface. And so you may see some returns on radar if you were to look early tomorrow afternoon, but likely a lot of that won't be reaching the surface quite yet until the atmosphere moistens up a little bit more. But as we get into Saturday night, we expect we could have a few showers in the northern part of the state. Now, talking about the Iron Bowl in Auburn, temperatures generally going to be kind of hanging in the upper 40s, maybe low 50s. Cloud cover will be mostly cloudy skies likely in place there. Earlier in the day for tailgating, things like that, it'll be a little bit more sunshine. But we don't really expect any issues with any of the showers that far to the southeast. Generally, any shower Saturday night should be kind of places like Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, and Anniston points to the north. South of that should be dry. But then again, as we get later into the nighttime and into Sunday morning, that's where the showers start to push further towards the southeast. But again, these are fairly light. You don't see really anything super heavy or anything super long lasting. It pushes through fairly quickly through the northern part of the state. By Sunday evening, we're actually starting to see some clearing, at least temporary clearing in the northern part of the state. Showers still lingering down in places like Monroeville, Troy, Auburn. And then as we move into Monday, we start to see the clouds kind of pushing back north again, and this next round of showers and rain moving in as we get into Monday afternoon. And this is, again, looking a lot more substantial, especially actually in the southern part of the state where we've had some of the worst drought. And so this could be some fairly beneficial rain for South Alabama and also a decent amount for the northern part of the state as well. A cold rain, though, it's looking like, it'll be temperatures in the 40s, maybe even upper 30s in the northern part of the state as rain is falling over the course of Monday night and into Tuesday morning. So it's going to be kind of a dreary, very cold rain for that time period there. But again, we need the rain, and looking at the outlook through the next week, could get, you can see a good portion or pretty much all of the state showing an inch or more of rain. Hadn't really seen a map like this in a while, so it'd be nice to see that widespread, at least 1 inch. And again, we'll continue to get some totals a little bit higher than that. Turning our attention to the forecast for any sort of traveling you might be doing over the next couple of days. Obviously, this is a big travel time of year with the Thanksgiving weekend here, and you can see that right now, at least, there are minor at best, really no delays really showing up at the major airports across the country here, all in the green. Got some snow showers happening up in the northeastern part of the country and also up in the northern plains and up towards the northwest, but nothing super significant yet. So travel impacts should be relatively moderate in those areas. But again, we're not seeing any right now, but you could see some in that kind of northern tier of the country. Not really expecting, again, any issues down here. But as we get into Saturday, you'll expect a little bit more significant impacts from places like Dallas up through St. Louis and Chicago. So if you're going to be flying through any of those areas, you might see a few more issues with delays as this next system pushes through and we see a little bit more winter weather occurring further to the north. And that should be the same kind of thing on Sunday too, where we'll see some showers coming through. But again, that would just be fairly low, moderate impact with if you're going to be driving around, you'll be potentially driving through some rain at times. But as you move further to the north, a little bit better chance of some winter weather that could slow things down and cause some delays as far as flights and things like that. And a little bit heavier rain further to the south towards the Gulf Coast could cause some impacts as far as driving as well. So here's your 7-day forecast. Again, we're looking at a really beautiful day, but just kind of chilly out there for the Black Friday. Temperatures up into the upper 40s in the northern half of the state, getting into the low 50s by tomorrow. You can see our lows tonight will still be cold again in the upper 20s. Then you'll see those lows start to moderate a little bit into the 30s as we head through the next couple of days when we have the rain chances here. So good chance of rain as we get into Sunday, and then we get a little bit of a break early Monday before Monday night and into Tuesday morning. We have another, again, more significant chance of seeing some decent rain totals with this. And then we expect to start to dry out as we get into the middle and late part of next week. For southern Alabama, similar story, but just a little bit warmer, getting the upper 50s possibly today, low 60s for tomorrow. Again, the rain takes a little bit longer to get to the southern part of the state, so it'll be kind of later Saturday night into Sunday, or really more Sunday before you really get the rain in the southern half of the state. Break on Monday, and then Tuesday, better chances there. And again, we'll hope to get some pretty good rain totals out of this for especially the southern part of the state. Well, that is your Alabama forecast update. We appreciate you watching us here on the Alabama Weather Network.